So number 7, this comes from Green is Great, who says, first Easter being saved. Well, congratulations. Green is Great. First Easter being saved. You get to celebrate the resurrection, actually believing it. What a powerful thing. Suggestions for some God-honoring ways to spend Good Friday and Holy Saturday. I'm so excited and want to do what's in my power to feel especially close to Christ. Let me tell you something. As a new Christian, I want you to know something. You are especially close to Christ even when you don't feel it. It took me so long to learn this. You are especially close to Christ even when you don't feel it. When you do feel it, it's wonderful. It's a good thing to say, I want to feel close to Christ. That's not bad at all. But it's just good to know that you're especially close to Christ, even when you don't feel it. That's a wonderful thing to be aware of. What could you do? What are God-honoring things to do Good Friday, Holy Saturday? I mean, gathering with believers to celebrate the resurrection of Christ is one of the best things you can do. There's many churches have Good Friday services. For Saturday, I don't know if people have traditions. I guess I never really had any special traditions on Saturday. Usually you're preparing for Sunday, we're going to visit multiple families, and I used to do Sunday sunrise services for my church. And so for me, I would be getting up at 3 a.m. I'm not kidding. And going to the park and setting up and sound checking and doing everything. And then we would do the service, and then we would do the park service. Then we would go do the other services in the church. And then I would just be in a coma after that. So, but it was still my favorite service of the year. So yeah, celebrate with friends and family. For a lot of churches, Easter is a great time to bring a non-believer. People are just a little, or at least someone who's not seeming to walk with Christ, because people are generally more open on Easter service, and many churches are more aware that this is a time to evangelize. So Easter, Christmas, and Mother's Day are the day when everybody brings someone to church. Not Father's Day, you lousy fathers, right? Mother's Day, all the moms are like, we're going to church, and interesting how that goes on. But this is a great day to do evangelism for churches, so that might be an opportunity. But yeah, I say just enjoy knowing that Christ is risen and that you're celebrating that. That one thing that I think might actually be, I like to do it, is during this week that's coming, I'll be thinking, okay, for Friday, okay, my understanding is Christ was crucified on Friday. So Friday around this time, Jesus was standing before Pilate. Friday around this time, Jesus was being flogged. Friday around this time, Jesus was being put on the cross. Maybe it was around this time of day, right around now when the sun's about this part of the sky, from where you're at. Maybe it was around this time of day that Jesus was being mocked by the men on the cross with him. And maybe a little later, maybe this is when the thief turned and tells him, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Maybe it was around this time of day that Christ was actually breathing his last. And he was crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Pointing us to Psalm 22, the fulfillment, that he's the fulfillment of, and he would be being the one who brings the world to Yahweh. Maybe it was around this time they were taking his body down, that Nicodemus and Joseph were like going and collecting some spices and stuff like that so they could bury him quickly in Joseph's tomb. Maybe around this day, on Saturday, around this time, the disciples were totally in despair. Judas was gone. He went and hung himself. Maybe Peter's in despair. Would he even look at the other disciples in the face because he had denied Christ 3 times? He was weeping bitter. So what I do is I walk through the events and I think about it, and I don't know, it's just more relevant to me. Waking up early Sunday morning, you're like, by the time I wake up nowadays, wow, they were already at the tomb and had found it empty. And they had told the disciples, and the disciples are like, hey, they're saying Jesus is risen. And Peter and John go to the tomb. It's empty. They haven't seen Jesus yet. And so was there like this glimmer of hope, but also this like fear that you were just going to be let down? There was this confusion because all their hopes have been dashed. But then if he has risen, what does it mean? Anyway, I think it's good stuff to do. All right.